Macca's Guides.
Hey everyone, Macca here, and welcome to my collectibles guide for The Quarry, an interactive horror game and a spiritual successor to Until Dawn. In this video, I'll take you through the game in chronological order, chapter by chapter, showing you all 72 of the collectibles in the game, scattered between the categories of clues, evidence, and tarot cards. A fair warning that a minimum of 2 playthroughs will be required to get all 3 of the collectible achievements / trophies. This is because there's a split path in the game and you will be required to choose between a left and right path, and each one of them has different collectibles. You do unlock chapter select upon beating the game, however, using chapter select you will still have to do most of a playthrough. So let's get started with the prologue. I'm going to try my best to keep out spoilers when possible, but due to the nature of the game, I'm going to have to give you some clues as to what we're doing. In the prologue, you'll get out of the car, you'll go into the woods, and there will be a branching path. Choose the left path, and you have to stumble upon the tarot card. Make sure you pick it up. Continue along this left path just after the tarot card, and we will find our first clue of the game. The clues show up in 3 different categories, including Freakshow Fire, Hackett History, and Camp History. Unlocking your first clue will also unlock an achievement or trophy. Luckily, the prologue is pretty dense with collectibles, so after that second one, we can already grab our third one by continuing forward, and there will be another branch in the path ahead of us, and we're going to make sure we go left. If we go left, it is a dead end, but at the end of this dead end, there is a chest, and we can open up this chest and find Freakshow Fire number 2, the Escapology trunk. So open that up and grab that collectible. You'll get a little notification on the right side of your screen when you do pick something up, and you can go to the pause menu and look at individual collectibles if you're mopping up on a second playthrough. Just after the trunk, we can head back to that split, and where we went left to find the trunk, we're now going to go to the right to continue towards kind of the main objective. You have to end up going here eventually, but if we continue to the right on the next branch, we'll eventually end up at this dead end where we can find Freakshow Fire number 3, the broken cage. Make sure you actually interact with it and see that little pop-up show up. Last but not least, a little bit later on in the prologue, we can find the first camp history clue called the Bloodied collar. You cannot miss this one as far as I know. It is necessary in order to proceed through the story, but once you do reach Camp Hackett, you'll break into the basement and then walk forward. You'll see a Bloodied collar drop. Continue to walk forward until you pick it up and grab the collectible, and now we can move on to chapter 1. From the very beginning of chapter 1, you will take control of Jacob, who is this guy in the green sweater, and once you gain control of him, look over your right shoulder and look in front of the kind of blue truck that's parked there, and there will be a hunting notice near the fence. Go and interact with it. From the previous collectible in chapter 1, we're now going to walk up the stairs and towards the lodge or the cabin. As you approach the door for the first time, there will be a small little cutscene where you knock on the door and interact with some characters here. I'm going to fast forward through that so you don't have to wait as long. But just to the left of the door, there is the camp plaque, so make sure you interact with that. Now from the plaque, we're going to have to get into the building, and we won't be able to go through the front door, so we'll have to go in through the side window. So follow the deck, go to the end, climb in through the window, wait for the cinematic, and do not interact with the bags on the ground near the steps, as this will proceed to the next scene. Instead, walk forward through the door, and here you'll enter a large dining hall. To your right, there's the stairs with the bags. We're going to ignore those for now. Instead, go into the hallway next to it, and here you'll notice a kitchen. As you walk into the kitchen, the camera should shift to reveal tarot card number 2, Temperance. Make sure you pick it up while in this view. Just after that, you'll be asked to sabotage the car by either breaking the fuel line or pulling out the rotary arm. And here is a key moment where you want to choose the rotary arm. Although it doesn't make a major effect on the story, it does allow us to grab a collectible that you will otherwise miss later on. So choose the Rotary arm if you don't want to miss something later in the game in Chapter 3. The next set of collectibles are possible when you take control of Abby, who is the girl with the red hair. And you'll be asked if you want to break into the cabin in order to get your stuff, and here you will want to choose the option break in. Once you do break in, you can grab the teddy bear not far from the door, which is a decent item to grab if you're going for a good playthrough. But halfway through the building, if you go between the bunk beds, you can also find the clue Freakshow Fire number 4.
Why would this place be in the news?
Just outside of that cabin, you will still be controlling Abigail, and Emma will be waiting for you in a golf cart across on the far end on the other side of that tree there. And here there's a couple of collectibles we'll want to grab before we leave. Go to room 8, and at the bottom of the steps, you can find the camp song recording. You have to do this section, so don't worry, you can't miss it.
It's not gonna be happy that the kids just left this year. I'll tell Chris about it when we see him.
Also in this area, before leaving and finding Emma in that golf cart, what we can do is walk towards the giant tree in the middle. This game is beautiful, by the way, and this is one of the scenes where it really shines, especially if you're playing on next generation consoles. But next to that tree, you can find our first piece of evidence in the game, and that is the empty vial. So make sure you grab that, and we can move on to the next collectible right next to it.
Hasn't seen this.
Right next to that tree, there is a post with some boards attached to it that is basically an information signpost, and that is exactly what the collectible is. So walk up to it and interact with it to grab this before finding Emma and leaving this area, proceeding to Chapter 2. Near the very beginning of Chapter 2, you will take control of Emma, who makes her way into the back room of the store here. As soon as you gain control of the character, walk forward and look in this bookshelf right here to find the Freakshow Fire 5 clue, the damaged memorabilia. This should also unlock an achievement or trophy for finding kind of two things that match together. Additionally, in this back room of the store, we will have to make our way to the back of the store in order to proceed with the story, but at the back of the store, you can also find another collectible. This is the Lodge renovation plans. In this game, you can hold the left bumper in order to walk a little bit faster. It doesn't actually make you walk that much faster, but it makes a little bit of a difference. For a section like this, you can definitely get to the back of the store and save a couple of seconds. But in this back area, there is a corner with a little desk here. And if you interact with it, you'll find the blueprints. So we'll grab that collectible before moving to the back door room area of this section. So from the previous collectible, you'll find a door, you'll interact with it, you will enter into that room, and Emma will want to explore. While you explore, there is a weapon here that we can grab, but in the far corner, there are also the torn bags, which is our second piece of evidence. Make sure you interact with those to grab them before leaving.
Back at the fire pit, so just let's go.
Did a bear do this?
We will now take control of Dylan inside of Mr. Hackett's office. As soon as we gain control of the character, walk forward and find the family photo on the desk.
Kaylee and Caleb Hackett.
Now for the next collectible, there may be a couple of different ways to get it, but I'm going to show you exactly how I grabbed it. Navigate to the trapdoor in the floor behind the desk. Your first option here, choose the suspicious option and say, guess it goes to the basement. This will then precede a little bit of a conversation, and then you can choose to climb down. Make sure you choose to climb down when given the option. You will then climb down, lock a chosen path, climb back up, continue the conversation, end up in Mr. Hackett's chair, And then here you'll be given an option between playful and dismissive. I'm going to choose playful, ring ring. This will make you play with the phone. After that, you'll put the phone down and play with the desk, interacting automatically with the drawer, opening up the drawer and finding the counselor's ledger, which includes the names of the 2 people from the prologue.
Oh. Laura Kearney and Max Brindley.
Nearing the end of Chapter 2, there will be a split path. You can choose between Shady Glade and Rocky Road, and each one of these has different collectibles. If you want to get all of the clues in the game, go for Shady Glade. However, if you want to get all of the tarot cards, go for Rocky Road. I'm obviously going to show you both of the options in this video, so if you chose Shady Glade, you'll end up being able to find 2 clues, the trail camera and the ranger box. So the numbering system in the game puts the trail camera as number 3 and the ranger box as number 2, but the trail camera is easier to find right off the bat. From where you spawn, once you do choose the path, go directly to your right, find this extra path that leads up the side, and there will be a trail camera attached to a tree on the right side of the path. Interact with it, watch the short cutscene, and you will unlock it. Now from the trail camera, we can also find Hackett history number 2, which is the ranger box. So just follow the path and you'll end up at an intersection. Near this intersection, you should be able to find a pretty obvious ranger box, and just make sure you walk directly towards it. If you were to push too far at this intersection towards the story, you would hit a cutscene and you wouldn't be able to grab it. So just make sure you walk straight at it from the trail camera. You should spot it, interact with it, and grab the ranger box. We can then move on and complete Chapter 2 from here.
I think it's a ranger box.
Oh.
Now, this next collectible is tarot card number 3, the Hanged Man. However, the only way to grab this is if you choose the Rocky Road path at the end of Chapter 2. Again, there are 2 paths, and choosing the Rocky Road will lock you out of some clues. But if you do choose the Rocky Road to get the tarot cards, just proceed along the path. It's a pretty easy and straightforward path. You'll kind of come up to like this little opening on the side of the cliff here, and there will be a tree on your left. As you pass that tree, it should force the camera perspective change to show you a card sitting on a rock, nice and high. Press A in order to grab this card. Also, a special thank you to my friend Unequalized Joe, who provided this clip for the purposes of this video. That's why there is a small little cutout in the bottom right corner. But thank you to them. I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to see their stream. We'll then start off in Chapter 3. You'll walk forward along a path, and you will get interrupted along this path with some cutscenes. Eventually, you'll reach this intersection here, and you do want to take the turn to the left-hand side to walk towards the center of the area. Make sure you stick to the path so that you don't accidentally end this scene too early. If you follow along this path and you'll pass this large tree to your left, the camera should change, and then you should be able to get tarot number 5, the Tower. The next collectibles are possible when you take control of Jacob when him and Emma are swimming in the lake near the docks. Once you take control of Jacob, walk into the little structure. The camera should shift, and here you'll be able to find tarot number 4, the Star. After the camera comes back to you, keep walking forward and take an immediate turn to your left, standing by the railing to find the no swimming sign, which is our next clue. There are 4 collectibles here, kind of back to back to back to back. Right after we find the no swimming sign clue, turn around and head directly behind you to find the North Kill Gazette. Pick that up as well.
Not long ago. Wonder if it was near here.
Last but not least, walk to the very end of this area, and here posted up on a wall you can find the old camp photo before going upstairs and grabbing the towels.
Hackett and Thack. Mr. H. Chris Hackett. Who the hell is Thackett?
Now for the next collectible, it is only possible if you grabbed the rotary arm as your choice in Chapter 1 when interacting with the car's engine bay. You must have chosen the rotary arm. If you've done this and got into the towels, Jacob will eventually jump into the water with Emma. She'll splash him, and then you'll be given the option to splash her. But do not splash her. Just wait for the timer to run out. This is an important option you'll have to choose. Eventually, you'll get out of the water, and for the next option, you'll want to choose flirt. Take a photo of me. This is another important thing for the chemistry of the situation to turn out the way it's turning out. Last but not least, when out of the water, Jacob will hear a scream, and only if you've chosen the Rotary arm in Chapter 1, you'll be given an option to run and help them or dive into the water. And you will want to choose dive in, as the Rotary arm has fallen into the water now. You can't actually get it back, but this is important to dive in to get evidence number 3, the bloated corpse. Once inside the water and floating, you'll have an option on what to do with the Rotary arm when you see it floating in the water, and you want to choose grab here. As the scene plays out, you will swim towards it, swim away from it, and finally find evidence number 3, the bloated corpse. I know this one was kind of long and involved, but if you did all the steps, it's really not that bad. Next up, we start off with Chapter 4. We take control of Emma near the very beginning. She's on the island, completely alone, drenched. And here, as soon as we gain control of her, we can turn around and go down the dock that we swam up from. When you reach the end of the dock, you may get a short little cutscene, but if you keep walking forward, you should be able to unlock tarot card number 7, which is called the Magician. Now, just after that, if you proceed with Chapter 4, you will reach a split path to the left and the right. And if we do this in a specific way, we can grab all the collectibles in this area in only one playthrough. And the way to do this is to take the downward path to the right-hand side first, and make sure you do not climb the ladder at the end of the path. What we're going to do is we're going to continue forward. There will be a couple of cutscenes and whatnot that we're going to have to get through. But when you reach the end of the path, you should notice the ladder in front of you, and to the left of you, there should be a box of matches next to the campfire. However, do not go up this ladder, as going up the ladder triggers a cutscene that locks us out of another collectible. After grabbing the box of matches, go back towards the beginning of the path. And here you'll end up where we had to choose between the left and the right. And this time we're going to go up and go up onto the docks that kind of go to the treetop area on this island. Just follow the path in a straightforward fashion, and you will come upon the actual treehouse. Do not, I repeat, do not go into the treehouse and interact with the front door. Instead, interact with the window ledge to the left of the front door, and here you'll be able to find the police car keys.
Car keys. Police car keys. I think this might be one of those. I'm sorry, officer, everyone else is... After
interacting with the police car keys, feel free to now go inside of the treehouse. This will trigger a series of cutscenes, and eventually you'll be able to choose between going up the ladder or searching the bag. Make sure that you choose search the bag. This is important because inside of the bag you will find a taser, and we need this taser to get the next piece of evidence. Now the scene will proceed, and you will try to climb the ladder, open the door at the top, and get attacked by the monster. Here you'll be given a choice to spray them with mace or use your taser. Make sure we choose use taser. This is important because this is the only way you can get the evidence to show up. After using the taser, you'll have a prompt to take a photo. Make sure you interact with that prompt to, of course, take the photo and get the piece of evidence. Last but not least for this chapter is tarot card number 6, called Strength, and this actually takes place during a cutscene where you're technically playing as Dylan. He'll talk about how hungry he is, and you guys will carry him into the lodge. As you do, the camera should shift, and quickly you'll be able to grab this before it changes again. We now move on to Chapter 5, and somewhat early in the chapter, you'll take control of Kaitlyn, who is tracking Bobby inside of the lodge. Here, you must fail these QTEs as you're running away. You'll bump into the staircase, and then Kaitlyn will hide halfway down the stairs. If you bumped into the staircase, Bobby should know you're here, and he will throw the blood vial onto you. This is necessary in order for you to grab a collectible later on in the game. Make sure you don't dodge the blood vial either by failing the QTE. This will result in Kaitlyn pulling out her weapon and aiming it at Bobby. Bobby will take the desk and then hide behind it, and here you'll want to shoot at the desk. This is also required in order to grab a collectible later on during Chapter 10, so make sure you do this key moment. A little bit later on in the chapter, Dylan and Ryan will be walking together in search of the kind of radio tower, so to say. And here you'll take control of Dylan after a short cutscene. There will be 5 collectibles kind of back to back here. The first one we can get as soon as we take control of Dylan on that little bridge we crossed. Directly in front of us will be a building, and to the left of that building, you can find the triggered bear trap. Interact with it and wait for the short cutscene in order to get it.
Whoa. Something like that could really take your hands off.
Now, from the previous collectible, you can turn around and head into the center of this kind of cabin area. We've been here before during the daytime in Chapter 2, so that might be familiar to you. But as we enter, go to the right, and you should go towards the 3rd cabin, room 03. And here at the bottom of the stairs, you should notice a small letter. Go up to it and interact with it to find camp history clue number 8, letter to the camp nurse.
That's why Nurse Kelly went home early.
From this previous collectible, you want to walk towards the middle of the area where the large tree is with the tire swing. And what you want to do is you want to walk between the 2 picnic tables. This will change the perspective of the camera, enabling you to grab tarot card number 8. We can now continue forward to the radio equipment place, which is kind of at the end of the area. Do not go into the door or interact with Ryan, who is sitting at the bottom of the stairs as you approach it, as there are 2 collectibles outside of the building we want to grab first. So the first of 2 collectibles outside of the radio building is evidence number 5, claw marks, which can be found on the wall of the building when standing next to this kind of large fan air conditioning unit. So make sure you interact with that first. Again, before going inside of the building, turn to the left and walk between the building and the antenna. This will force a camera change to find tarot card number 9, the Hermit. We'll then start off chapter number 6. Near the very beginning of the chapter, you will take control of Jacob, and we can find 2 collectibles here. The first one we'll grab is by walking forward and going up onto the kind of walkway here. And we'll follow the walkway almost all the way to the end, but we'll make sure we keep to the right-hand side. Near the end of the dock on the right-hand side, you'll be able to find a camera. Upon interacting with that camera, you'll flip it around, open it up, and inside you'll find evidence number 6, which is the memory card. From the memory card, we can also grab the next tarot card, but be very careful here, as if you go the wrong way, you might trigger the cutscene to the next area. Go down the steps from the memory card, and at the very bottom, turn to your left. Do not go up the path to your right. If you turn left at the bottom of the path, you'll end up walking back towards the dock, and doing this will force a camera change revealing the tarot card, which you will then pick up. There will then be a little bit of story, and you'll end up inside of a pool house, and you'll take control of Abigail here. Inside of the pool house, don't interact with anything or anyone other than these collectibles right away. So once you gain control of the character, if you walk forward and go behind Kaitlyn, up on the wall you can find camp history number 11. This clue is called the camper's photo. So make sure you grab that. After the camper's photo, if you turn to your left and walk down the hall, you'll see that there are 3 kind of change room showers to our left. Enter the one in the middle, and here, as you enter through the door, go past the door and you will reveal a tarot card, the Moon. Make sure you grab this as well. Last but not least, we want to enter back into the main area and go to the very end of this area. Here you'll find a locker. Interact with the locker to find the spooky drawing.
This place was so different like 12 hours ago.
The next person you take control of will be Emma. And once you take control of her, she should have just found the campfire. As soon as you actually take control of their movement, walk forward and look to your right. Here you'll find 2 yellow tents. Walk up to the one that's opened to find the kid's letter home. This is the last collectible for Chapter 6. We're a fair portion of our way through the game now. Next up, we have Chapter 7, which in large part functions as a flashback to the prologue. And here we'll eventually take control of Laura inside of the jail cell. As soon as we do that, we can walk forward and interact with the wall on our right in order to find the Scrawled Limerick as a collectible on the wall.
Sheriff continues his creeping.
Additionally, in the jail cell, if you walk back towards like the door, you will be able to trigger a camera change, which will reveal a tarot card. You will then partake in a quite long discussion with the cop, and eventually you will take control of Laura and have access outside of the jail cell. From here, you'll want to walk away from Max, and this will allow you to go into the police station itself. There are, I believe, 4 collectibles here, so let's grab them all. Walk towards the very middle of the room between all of the desks to grab tarot card number 12, the Chariot. From here, we can continue walking to the far corner of the room on the ground floor. You'll go up this small set of stairs onto a platform, and in the far right-hand corner, we can find evidence number 7, the cease and desist letter.
Travis.
At this point, we are ready to go upstairs. Do not go through that door that I was just standing next to. So go down the small set of steps and then go up the large set of steps. On the top floor, there are 3 rooms. We will have to go into all 3 of them, but first we're going to go into the middle one, so the second door. And here you'll be able to find Freakshow Fire 7 clue, the Charred Sheriff's badge. So go into the second door. Go inside. As soon as you gain control of your character, you'll find this just off to the left of the screen, sitting on top of a box. So interact with it.
Whoever was wearing this can't be doing too well.
This next collectible will take us almost a solid 3 minutes on its own, but it's worth it because you'll obviously want all the collectibles, but you'll also unlock an achievement or trophy specifically for getting it because it is the podcast. Now, from that second room, go down on the balcony to the last room in the chain here, and in the third room, as you walk in, to the right of the screen, you'll be able to find a calendar on the wall. If you interact with this calendar, you should notice that Travis's birthday is on July 7th. While you're in this room, you may as well also grab the syringe, which is found inside of the locker on the other side of the room. This is not mandatory for this collectible. However, you can take this syringe and then hide it in your jail cell in order to more easily have a good playthrough. But once you do have the syringe, leave the room, and while staying upstairs, go into the first door nearest the staircase.
I need to lie down.
Once inside of the door, you'll want to make your way to the left of the screen to find the corkboard with a birthday card on it. and this will reveal how old Travis is. This will help us know what year he was born in. This is another piece of the clue of the password that we need to enter his computer. We need his full birthday, which we now know is July 7th, 1965. With these clues, you can now head out the door, go down the stairs, across to that platform where we found the evidence, and you can go inside of the door there. Inside of the door, you will find Travis Hackett's office, and now that we know his birthday, we basically have the password to enter his computer. Don't worry, it'll be entered automatically via a cutscene if you have the clues that I just showed you how to get. Now, as soon as you get onto the computer, you will have a bunch of things happen. The phone will ring and you'll interact with it. This all happens during a cutscene. But at the end of the cutscene, which takes about a minute or two, you should find a podcast. And when that podcast is automatically played during the cutscene, you will step away from the computer, unlocking not only this collectible, but an achievement or trophy as well.
I have exhausted this and myself. I need to sleep.
We now hop on board. Chapter 8 will start as Laura inside of a cave, and once we gain control of her, walk forward and to your right a little bit around the little small water feature in the middle of the room. At the end of this path, you will find a clue, the miner's lunchbox. Don't worry, you really can't miss it, and this is a dead end. You'll have to turn around anyways.
This must be part of the old working quarters.
From the previous collectible, in the same room, we can now walk towards our actual objective, which is this small staircase in front of us. And just to the left of the staircase up, we can find the old Quarry tools. Make sure you pick those up before moving forward.
These must have been from the Quarry days.
No doubt.
Now for this next collectible, watch out and do it slowly, because if you go too far too fast, you'll hit a cutscene and you'll miss it. You'll come to this part where you cross the bridge as Laura, and you'll eventually come around this corner on the railing. And in front of you, there is another staircase. Do not go up those stairs. Instead, go to the left and stand on this small little balcony that kind of pokes out, and here you can grab the next tarot card. Then we'll go up those stairs I just told you to watch out for, and this will trigger a cutscene. And after the cutscene, we can walk forward and up the staircase. We'll end up near a bridge. Instead of crossing the bridge, right where the bridge starts, we should be able to find our 8th piece of evidence, the scarred flesh. It'll be to the right of the mouth of the bridge that we would be entering from.
Do you think actually something is...
This next one is incredibly hard to miss, but after you find this kind of tunnel, there will be some boards of wood that are blocking the entrance. You'll walk in. As soon as you gain control of Laura, walk forward, and the camera should shift, revealing the next tarot card, the Wheel of Fortune. There will then be a small segment as Kaitlyn, and then you'll return to Laura and Ryan, but you'll actually be playing as Ryan now. You'll gain control of him inside of the basement of the Hackett house, and there are 3 collectibles to grab. Go immediately into the room on your left and walk towards the middle to reveal the tarot card, the Empress. After grabbing the tarot card in this same room, we can find Hackett history number 13. It's a clue, and it is the rum still, which are the 2 kind of pressurized containers on the edge of the room. Last but not least, we're going to return to the hallway we came from. This is just to make sure you don't accidentally go too far and trigger the next area. So in this main hallway, just continue walking forward. Do not go through the red door until you have the camera shift. You'll reveal the Emperor. Pick that up. You're done with the collectibles. You can go through the red door and move on to chapter 9 now. In chapter 9, a bunch of things will happen, but eventually you'll take control of Ryan inside of the Hackett house. And as soon as you gain control of him, there are 2 collectibles in this room, which is, I believe, Constance's room. As soon as you spawn, to your right at the far end, you can find evidence number 9. This is Kaylee's letter. Make sure you grab both of these collectibles before interacting with any of the doors, by the way. Additionally, in this room, if you walk towards the middle, you should reveal a tarot card, and make sure you pick it up. In this room, you can now look in the cupboard, under the bed, and then interact with the doors. Hide in the cupboard if you're given the chance. You should now be playing as Laura, and if you've successfully done the QTEs, you've escaped and entered this room with the blue wallpaper and the piano. Directly across from you where you spawn, walk forward, revealing the hunting trophy that is on the wall for our next collectible.
There are bears around here.
From the hunting trophy, let's go upstairs, and as soon as we get to the top of the stairs, walk through the door in front of you and then through the next door right in front of you, and you'll end up inside of like a kind of living room with a TV. And if you turn to the left while in this room, it's pretty dark in the corner, but you should be able to notice a small interactable item, and this is the Hackett family tree found on the wall. From the family tree, let's navigate back to the hallway. As we exit this room, take a right-hand turn, and then you'll go through the next door and through another door. You'll end up in a large room with a window. Walk forward to kind of the middle of the room to reveal the next tarot card called the Sun. Do not interact with the door on the other side of the room until you grab this. There's then a pretty big section of gameplay until eventually we are playing as Dylan alongside Kaitlyn inside of the scrapyard with the automated lights that turn on. As soon as you enter the scrapyard, walk directly in front of you, and you should notice a little bit of a garage on your right-hand side. If you go into this garage, there's a staircase. Go up the stairs and to the very end of the balcony to find the scrapyard note. After the scrapyard, I went downstairs and activated the table, which opened the doors to the next section. I then walked out of the garage directly forward and continued forward. Eventually, I will reach this small little kind of cutscene, but directly after it, just continue walking forward. And if we walked perfectly in a straight line from where we started, we'll end up exactly at this staircase right here. Now, once you reach the staircase, go up the staircase and make an immediate turn to your left, once on top of the containers. If you do this, you will eventually be able to walk forward to the edge here, and the camera will shift, revealing the next tarot card. Now, from the tarot card, be very careful and don't walk too close to the giant yellow crane, which is our main objective and starts the next scene. From the tarot card, you are able to go down this staircase right here, and at the bottom of the staircase, you can turn to the right, and you should be able to spot a discarded sign with a kind of green drawing on it, and this is our next collectible. Walk perfectly in a straight line towards it to pick it up before going to the crane. Last but not least, a little bit later in Chapter 9, Abigail and Emma should end up inside of the basement, assuming that Abigail is still alive. And here, if we walk forward, it is incredibly dark, but if you turn to the right once it opens up, you should notice some stairs. Walk towards the stairs to reveal the next tarot card. Last but not least, this is Chapter 10. Near the beginning, we take control of Kaitlyn, which I believe no matter how you've played, should be alive at this point. Once you take control of her, walk forward and go up the first set of stairs on your right. Then instead of going forward, let's go to the top floor, take a left-hand turn and follow along. You'll notice a staircase, and beside this staircase, there is a room. Inside of this room, we can find camp history clue number 12. This is the camp letter. So pick that up before going upstairs.
Jeez, I'm see really struggling if they're begging for $1.
After grabbing the last collectible, go out the door that we used to get in, take an immediate turn to your right, and head upstairs to the top floor. There's a couple of different ways to get up to the top floor, and they're not all connected to each other, so we'll have to go to the top floor on the other side of the building. But once we're up here at the very top of these stairs, turn to the left and walk towards the windows. This will reveal your last tarot card of the game. Assuming you took the Rocky Road path near Chapter 2, that should unlock an achievement. Next up, we're going to go back to the middle floor, so go back down the stairs, and at the bottom of the stairs, we're going to kind of go to the other side of the building, and there will be 2 important collectibles to grab along the way. Make sure you interact with them the same way I do, or else you may click the wrong button. So as you walk forward here across this walkway with the balcony to your left, you can interact with the photo. After interacting with the photo, make sure that you select Keep Looking, or else you will proceed the story. But this is a collectible.
Long time ago.
Now for the next collectible, it was required that we failed the QTEs in Chapter 5. That's the gameplay you're looking at on screen right now. This is me failing those QTEs in Chapter 5. I warned you this was a key moment in the game, and if you did that, Kaitlyn had the blood vial thrown at her, and then Bobby picked up the table, and the story proceeded. So, assuming that you did that correctly, directly after looking at that photo, you should be able to walk forward, and there will be no table on your right-hand side. But because the table was moved, the picture was thrown to the ground. We can now inspect it, and as we do, a ticket stub will fall from the back. This is Freakshow Fire number 9, the ticket stub collectible. If you didn't fail the QTEs, the table's still there and you can't interact with the photo. However, there are a couple more collectibles. Let's grab those before we wrap up the game. So walk forward from that ticket stub, and here in the back room, you can find a classroom. At the front of the classroom, there's a whiteboard, and for some reason, although it's a whiteboard, the collectible is called Chalkboard Doodle. So I'm not quite sure how that works, but make sure you pick it up before moving on. And then last but not least, we should have our final evidence of the game. So leave the classroom, and then go up the stairs directly next to the door of the classroom. This is the other 3rd floor section of the lodge. Here there are 2 collectibles. The first one is the trail cam footage. Up the stairs directly in front of you to your left, there will be a box. Interact with that box to find the trail cam footage inside, getting all 10 out of 10 evidence. If you've been following along, an achievement or trophy should unlock here. And last but not least, the final clue in the game, also next to what we just picked up, near the couch on the other side of the room, is the inscribed jewelry. Another achievement or trophy should unlock if you've kept along. Thank you so much for watching the video. Super thanks are enabled for those who are interested. Drop a like on the video, share this video with a friend. Hopefully it was helpful. Special thanks to everyone on Patreon for supporting the show, and hopefully I see you soon. Peace.